Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Ask Me Anything, Achieving Best Practice with Occupiers. My name's Jessica Dubey, and I'm going to be hosting this morning's webinar for you. It's great to see so many of you on here, and I'd like to offer a very warm welcome and thank you so much for joining me this morning for the next hour to be going over how to achieve best practice with your occupiers. Just to let you all know, this webinar is of course being recorded, and I will send a recording by the end of play this week. So please keep your eyes peeled, as there will be an email going around with a bit of extra information, which we'll be going through in this webinar, along with today's recording. Okay, brilliant. So before we get started, I just want to go through a very quick agenda with you all so you all know what's coming up in the next hour. So first of all, we're going to be going through best practice tips for occupier move in and move outs. We're going to be going through proven strategies used by top agencies to boost occupier engagement and satisfaction. And finally, at the end, there is, of course, the live Q&A. So this is a fantastic opportunity for you to ask any Fixflo question that you have at all. So please do pop your questions in the Q&A section of your Zoom bar, and I will get answering them all at the end of the webinar, just to keep us fully on track today. So there's the Q&A button again. You can see it on the screen here. Please get your questions over to me. I do absolutely love to see people engage with me. For those of you who have just joined, welcome to the webinar. My name's Jessica Dubey. It's a pleasure having you on here this morning. Today's webinar is, of course, being recorded, and I will send that all out to you by the end of play this week. So before we get started, I just want to launch a very quick poll. Brilliant. So the first thing I want to talk about is the benefits of your occupiers reporting maintenance issues on Fixflo. So first of all, Fixflo has a dedicated occupier portal. Now this is available 24/7. Occupiers can use any device to report maintenance issues on your dedicated portal, and the system is also available in over 40 languages. So if you do have that language barrier, that can actually be taken away if your occupiers use Fixflo to report maintenance issues. We also have got customizable guidance and advice pop-ups, which are available within the Fixflo system, which can actually help to filter out around 21% of issues. And this can, of course, help the occupier as they can get their issue resolved on the spot. And also it can help you, as it means that less issues are actually coming through to you. And the ones that are coming through to you are genuine reports that need to be resolved and maybe need a contractor. And finally, with Fixflo, you will get a detailed report submitted every time. And this will reduce your time to resolution, because rather than that back and forth trying to find out exactly what the issue is, you will have all of that first time in that one report, which has absolutely everything on it. So Fixflo can really be beneficial if you are driving your occupiers into these fantastic habits and getting them to report maintenance issues online. I just want to point out as well, I'm sure you've heard of this already, Fixflo Academy. Fixflo Academy really is the very best way to become a Fixflo expert. It is completely free of charge, and it allows you to do step-by-step learning in your own time. It will also kind of log your progress as you go, so it will save it automatically for you, and you can easily access Fixflo Academy directly from your Fixflo account. It has on-demand videos, key learning slides, as well as interaction slides as well, helping you to better learn the system. It is available for absolutely all users, so it's all Fixflo users. And there is a course available on here called How Occupiers Report Issues. Now, it is absolutely key and vital that you understand the occupier side of Fixflo so that you can openly talk to your occupiers about Fixflo. You want to be able to very easily have these conversations and almost sell the platform to them to make sure that actually this is how they are going about reporting their maintenance issues. So I would highly recommend that if you haven't already, do kind of take this course if you're not 100% sure how occupiers report maintenance issues. It's only a 15-minute course, and it is, like I say, completely free of charge. I will be, along with this recording by the end of this week, I will be linking out a link for how you can sign up to this course. And like I say, it's just a very quick 15 minutes, and it really will help you to understand exactly how they report issues. So if you haven't already, please do take that course, and I will link it out by the end of the week. I do highly recommend that. Just to let you know as well, we have a bunch of other courses as well. There'll be another course I'll be talking about a bit later on as well, but you can really kind of explore the course options available to you and select courses depending on your training needs. So, in terms of proven strategies used by top agencies to boost occupier engagement and satisfaction, the first thing I really want to talk here about is implementing occupier onboarding and offboarding processes. Now, this is absolutely key. So, any new occupiers that you take on, it's really, really important that you actually have kind of almost a checklist available so that you know that you're doing absolutely everything right at the very beginning of their tenancy to make sure that they're fully aware of Fixflo and that is how they're reporting maintenance issues going forward. So the first thing I want to point out is when a new occupier is added to your Fixflo site, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment, they will receive a welcome email, and that welcome email will tell them about Fixflo. So the first thing you can do is you can actually view and also amend this email if you'd like to. So how do you do this? Where do you do it? Well, you must be an administrator user in order to do this, because you must have the permission here, which allows you to view setup. Now, if you are not an administrator user, you can either ask somebody who is to amend your user role permission. Alternatively, you can just have a chat with them later and explain to them that actually this is where they can view the email and maybe amend it if they want to. So just because you may not have the permission for this doesn't mean you can't do other things on the system. But for those of you who are administrator users or are going to talk to administrator users about this, you can simply click here on setup, and from here there's a drop down which opens up for you, and you'll want to click here on content edit. From here, you'll be taken through to kind of two tabs. You've got your content and your fault tree pop-ups here. You'll want to remain in the content tab, and this is where you can view some of the emails that are sent out via Fixflo, and you can view and also edit these. So the one we're focusing on just now is email welcome occupier, which sits just here. So this is the email which you can view and also edit. To edit this, it is just like a Word document, really, really simple. You simply click into it here and you can start typing. So you can, type here to make any changes. And once you're happy with that, of course, you must then press save. You can also, of course, preview this as well. So it will show you this as more of like how it would look as an email. So you can make any amendments to this here, and then you're happy then with your welcome email. So it does kind of have the benefits here for the occupier, which I think are really, really important. But in order to get this welcome email to go out to occupiers, you must, of course, add new occupiers onto Fixflo. So this can easily be done. To do this, you simply click here on people on your left-hand menu sidebar and then click on occupiers. From here, you simply need to click on add occupier here and then just fill out the fields. So you would just need to add, for example, here their title, first name, surname. It is always recommended as well to add a display name. Display names are brilliant because then it would have, dear and then their display name. So say their name is Susan, but they like to go by the name of Sue. Then you could put in Susan as the first name, as Sue as the display name. I would highly recommend, although it's not a mandatory field, I would highly recommend adding a phone number. That is because you can send SMS messages to your occupiers as well, and we will go over that in just a moment. And you must, of course, add an email address. Once you've got all of that information, you can click here on address, where you open that up and you would type in their postcode in order to add them there. So it's really nice and simple to add an occupier just here on the add occupier section. And once you have added them, they will then straight away receive an email. So I did add an occupier earlier. And that occupier, her name was Amy, and you can see here she received the email straight away with all of the information. So I'm just going to give you a second just to have a look over that email, and do remember, of course, you can make amendments to that if you want to as well. Brilliant. So that's the email that goes out. I hope you've had time to read that. Remember, again, you will get this recording, and this email, of course, is available on your Fixflo site, again, under setup and content edit. What I'm now going to do is explain to you that, so once your occupier, one of the really important reasons actually of adding your occupiers here and then receiving that welcome email is you can also have automatic reminder emails which go out to your occupiers every 3 months. Now, you can amend how often this goes out, but I would highly recommend that you go into your system and make sure this is set up. Now, in order for this reminder email to go out to your occupiers, they must have either received the welcome email and or reported a maintenance issue on Fixflo. So if you have people moving in and you don't add the occupier to Fixflo and they don't receive the welcome email and they haven't reported a maintenance issue on Fixflo, they will not be included in this kind of reminder email that is automatically going out directly from Fixflo. This can help to keep your occupier usage higher, to ensure that occupiers are made aware, on a regular basis about Fixflo, so it doesn't just get forgotten a few months down the line, and they're constantly kind of having those reminder emails going out to them. So please make sure that any new occupiers, you do add them onto Fixflo so they receive the welcome email and this reminder email, which we're going to go over now. So the reminder email can also be viewed and amended. And once again, of course, you will need to be an administrator user to do this, because again, it sits under setup and then content edit. So it's in exactly the same place that the welcome email is. And it just sits here, email occupier reminder. So by clicking on this, again, you can view what the email would look like. You can amend it as well. And in order to make sure these are going out, I believe by default, this is set up to go out every 3 months to your occupiers, but it is always worth just checking your settings. Again, if you're not an administrator user, ask an administrator user either to change your user role permission or to check this themselves by clicking on setup, settings here. And what you'll want to do is click on the notifications tab. Now, from this notifications tab, by scrolling down, you can see all of the notification defaults for the different parties here. And this is going to occupiers. So we'll click on the occupier notification defaults. And it's just this one here, which is a reminder email to report issues via Fixflo. Now, mine is set every 3 months. Again, I do believe this is the default for new agencies, but if you've been with us a while, because this notification was added, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, I'm not 100% sure when this was added, but if you've been with us longer than this was added, it could actually be set to do not send. So just please do double check that, or make sure nobody's amended it. And you can either have this to send every 3, 6 or 12 months. I would recommend having it going out every 3 months, because I do think that's kind of regular enough to remind your occupiers about Fixflo and to keep, like I say, that usage high, keep your occupiers in those really good habits, and ensure that every single maintenance issue does come through via Fixflo. Do remember, if things come through via Fixflo, you've got the fantastic workflows you can use. It will keep a full audit tab of absolutely, so you'll get a full kind of paperless audit trail of absolutely every single job as well. So it really is the very best way for all maintenance issues to come through. So keeping that set to every 3 months and making sure every occupier sits within that reminder email kind of notification is very, very important. Another thing that I would definitely do, so as well as making sure that this is turned on and sending them that welcome email by adding the occupier, I would also highly recommend that you send them a welcome kind of text to show them about Fixflo. Now, obviously, everybody's got their phone on them all the time nowadays. I've got mine just here with me now. I'm sure you've got yours there too. Who misses a text? Nobody. So texting is a really brilliant way to promote Fixflo to your occupiers. And I really think it's a great way to kind of kick things off. And if you've got a new occupier, they receive an email and a text message, and then they get these reminder emails every 3 months. So first of all, to view this text message and change it, you can click here on promote on the left-hand menu sidebar. If you click on promote to your occupiers, and then click text your occupiers, which sits just here. Within this first screen here, you've got this message here where you can choose what the message says. Now, one thing to bear in mind with this message is your Fixflo URL must be included on this text message. You cannot, so if I was to remove that and press save, it would say the message must contain your Fixflo website address. So I cannot send it without that. So I'm just going to refresh so that that comes back like that. So you can make amendments to this. If you want it to be slightly more bubbly, that's absolutely fine. Just do bear in mind that you do have a character allowance with text messages, obviously unlike emails. So do keep it obviously within the character allowance, but you can make amendments to this here. Now, if you've got a brand new occupier and you just want to send that one occupier a message, what you can do is you can click into People and Occupiers. You can go, so I'm going to go into the occupier I added earlier, who was Amy Wright. And I can simply click into her profile, scroll down, and here I've got the Send to Occupier option. It comes with a drop down, and I can send welcome SMS. So that would then allow me to send a welcome SMS. As you can see, I can send a one-off welcome email as well, or reminder email, but this is automated. This will go out as soon as they're added, and this you must do manually. So I do think it's a really excellent step for them to take. And just to let you know, they can also download the web app as well. So web apps can be downloaded on an iPhone or an Android. It's not a web app that they would download from like the Play Store or App Store, but it's actually when they're within the URL. So when they get the text message, because your Fixflo website address will always be on it, that will become a link and they can click on it. And from there, they can actually download the web app, which means it will sit on their phone as a reminder, making it so quick and easy for them to access your Fixflo URL. And it will sit on their homepage for them. It takes up no space on their phone and it is completely free of charge. What I will do is, along with the email that goes out by the end of play this week, I do have a very short, I think it's a 3-minute video, which I've created very recently, which will show you how they can do this. So it's very easy. So I will include that in the email that goes out later by the end of this week. So do send that text message. I would highly recommend that you do that. The final thing I'd like to mention, so for any new occupiers, is just remember to include talking about Fixflo in any communications that you have. So when you're talking to them at the very beginning, on their move-in, you can have a move-in pack, something like that. You could always include information about Fixflo there, just again, to really drill that home to your occupiers that actually this is how they're going to report maintenance issues going forward now that they are renting a property through your agency. So what I would recommend is that you have some form of onboarding checklist. So again, once again, it's add all new occupiers onto Fixflo. By default, they will then receive the welcome email. Please ensure that your monthly reminder emails are set up in your settings. That is a one-off thing that you need to do. Just make sure that it's on there. Text all new occupiers and then prompt them to download this as a web app on their phone. And finally, just mention Fixflo in all communications going forward. Again, you've got the idea of the welcome packs there. I don't know, when you go around and you do an inventory, something like that, you could say to them, you know, we have got Fixflo. It's very easy to use. And once again, if you're not 100% sure how occupiers do use Fixflo to report maintenance issues, then what I would recommend is that you do that course on Fixflo Academy, which again, I will link out by the end of play this week, along with this recording. So as well as having move-in processes, it's really important to have move-out processes as well. So there are kind of two scenarios here. Scenario one is that the occupier moves to a different property, but that sits within your portfolio. Now, what I would recommend for this is that all you do is amend their address within their profile. So, for example, if I go to people here and occupiers and say Amy Wright, say she was to move and she was moving to a different property but you know, within the agency that I look after. So it's still within the portfolio. I could simply go into her profile here, and all you need to do is scroll to the bottom, open up address, and amend the address here. Now, this is important just to keep your data fully up to date on Fixflo. Plus, your occupiers can, of course, log into Fixflo, and I'm going to show you that very shortly. But you want to make sure that when they're reporting maintenance issues, if they are logging in, that actually their address details automatically pull up and they're the correct ones, rather than a property that they moved out of a month or two ago. So just keeping things up to date really does make a big difference. So all you need to do here is put in the new postcode. So say it's, oh gosh, sorry, my numlock must have turned off. Perfect. You can simply search here, and then you could say, okay, this is the property that she's moved to now, and then press save. And that's it. Her address is now fully up to date with the new address that she now lives at. So that's really important. That's part of your move out process. If Amy was to say, move away and she's no longer actually renting through any of the properties we fully manage, I'd highly recommend that you archive these occupiers from Fixflo. You want to make sure that, again, even when they're not with you, they're getting a good experience through you and they're not receiving communications from you. For example, that reminder email every 3 months when actually they moved out 6 months ago. You want to make sure that those emails aren't going out to them anymore and that they're archived from your system. Again, just keeping your data up to date as well. So there's lots of benefits here. So all you would need to do to archive somebody, so again, say it was Amy Wright. Just search her, and you've literally got your little padlock over here, which allows you to archive occupiers. So I could archive her here if she's actually no longer renting through a property under my portfolio. So you've got the two options: one, change their address, or two, archive them all together. I'd like to also mention that the only entity you can actually delete fully from Fixflo is occupiers. So if an occupier asks to be deleted, then of course you can. We'd recommend only deleting an occupier that's proactively asked to be deleted. And the reason we added this was a few years ago for GDPR, so that occupiers can ask to be completely removed. To do this, you would literally need to click into an archived profile, scroll down, and then you've got the delete occupier here. Section here. You would need to archive them first. You can also click into their profile to archive them. So as much as I archived Amy from just the list of occupiers here, if she was to be unarchived there and active, I could click into her and scroll down and archive her within her profile here, like this, and then the delete option would come up. If the delete option is there, it will anonymize all her data, so her email address, her name, but it would still have like a tenancy number, and that would be attached to any issues that she reported. So in order to keep your audit trails correct, I would say only delete if they've proactively asked to be deleted. If not, simply archive them and all of their details will stay attached to issues. I do hope that makes sense. And as much as having an onboarding checklist, we would again recommend you have an offboarding checklist. This one is, of course, slightly shorter. So again, just archive any occupiers who move out of your managed properties. Simply amend their address if they've moved to another property which you manage, and delete any occupiers who wish to be fully removed from the system. So they are the best kind of onboarding and offboarding processes that you can put into place for your new and old occupiers on Fixflo. Highly recommended in order to get the best out of them and achieve best practice. Okay, brilliant. So 2 questions have come through so far. If you do have any other questions, please get them over to me. Again, I do love to see people engaging with me in the webinar today. So please keep getting your questions over to me. And like I say, I will just answer everything at the end to keep us on track today. Okay, so in terms of proven strategies used by top agencies to boost occupier engagement and satisfaction, the next thing I want to talk about is understanding occupier notifications and also feedback options. So occupier notifications. So just to show you, again, you will need to be an administrator user to do this, but if you click here on setup, And from here, you go to the settings option. We went here before, so this is the notifications kind of tab that I'd recommend that you go to. And by scrolling down again, we're going to open up occupier notification defaults. So we have got a number of notifications which are automatically set up, which help to keep the occupier in the loop throughout the workflow process. So as you're using the Fixflo workflows and you're instructing works onto a contractor, or that contractor is adding in kind of appointment times and dates, the occupier will be kept in the loop throughout. Now, this does really help occupier satisfaction, and it's really important that you are kind of using the Fixflo workflows. Once again, I'm going to talk about Fixflo Academy a little bit more. So we do have a course available on Fixflo Academy to show you how the workflows actually work. It's a slightly longer course, but it is an absolutely brilliant course. We've had fantastic feedback on all of our Fixflo Academy courses. So if you aren't quite sure how to use the Fixflo workflows, I'd highly recommend that you sign up to and complete that course. But as you use these workflows, these notifications will go out to occupiers. It just keeps them in the loop and makes them aware that actually you are doing something about their maintenance issue, which I always think is absolutely brilliant. So you will notice that a lot of these notification types here, they're emails. So you can, for example, have an automatic email go out when the job is instructed. So that's when you instruct a contractor to do the job. You won't need to do anything manually at all. It will go straight automatically out to the occupier, keeping them in the loop. And all of this will, of course, be traced on the audit tab, which provides that full paperless audit trail on every single job. You can also see, for example, here, there are emails sent when an appointment is due shortly. And for example, here if an appointment is cancelled. So there's lots of kind of different notifications that you can have a look at. And of course, you can amend the settings if you want to. By default, most of these are set to send. And again, it does just keep them in the loop, but it is probably worth, if you are an administrator user, just having a look at your settings, just to be aware of what goes out to occupiers and to make sure that you are happy with these as well. Now, the SMS notification I showed you earlier about the welcome text, that is completely free of charge to send. I completely forgot to mention that. I do apologize. So those welcome messages and reminder SMSs that you can send, they are completely free of charge. However, you can also set up SMS notifications to go out to your occupiers, as well as these emails. So to set these up, you will first of all need to agree to the SMS terms and conditions, because these SMS notifications would cost you 4p per text if you are sending them as a notification, either for the automatic ones that go out for the workflows, or ones that you can send via the comments tab, which I'll show you in a moment. So in order to agree to the SMS T's and C's, again, you'll need to be an administrator user, and you will need to be in setup and settings, which I'm already in, and click here on this T's and C's tab. By scrolling down, you have got here, so at the very bottom, additional feature SMS. And here it's telling you basically that this will cost you 4p per SMS. That has actually decreased. It used to be 6p. So this will be kind of charged towards your normal invoice, and you would need to agree to the T's and C's. Of course, you can view them here and then press save. So you can only send out the SMS notifications via comments and via the normal workflow notifications once these have been agreed to. Once you've agreed, we can then click back on notifications and once again scroll down and open up occupier notifications, and you will now notice that all of these kind of notifications, you've got different notification types. You've got email and SMS. Now, just to point out that the SMS notifications will always default to do not send. You will have to manually turn these on if you want to, but just do bear in mind that will, of course, cost you 4p per message. So bear that in mind. But if you do think it would be helpful and help to boost your occupier engagement and their satisfaction, then, of course, you can turn this on very easily. Simply amend the setting and then just scroll down and remember to press save just here. So you have got that option there if you want to. So a lot of these notification types are available via email and also SMS. Just to let you know as well, under reports here, if you type in under search reports, SMS, there are 2 kind of SMS reports allowing you to keep on top of the text messages that you are sending. So you can keep on top of the history of SMS notifications and also the types and costs as well, just to keep on top of how much you are spending. I also just want to point out to you that on a per issue basis, you can, of course, send comments to your occupiers. So if I just go into a random issue here and I click on the comments tab, comments is an absolute key feature of the Fixflo system, and this allows you to send messages to different parties about the particular issue. So here, for example, I could send a message to the reporting occupier here, Jenna. You can literally type the message in here. So depending on what it is you want to say, let's just do test. And then what you can do is you can send it by pressing send here. That will send it as an email. And you can also send with an SMS. That would then send as an email and as a text message. That text message, of course, would cost you 4p. And it would allow, and you would need, sorry, to have those SMS T's and C's turned on in order to send comments via SMS as well. So please just bear that in mind. But of course, once again, if there are any particular complications with a workflow or anything like that with a particular issue, keeping occupiers in the loop via the comments tab really is very important. Please also note that as soon as the issue has been awarded onto either a contractor or a landlord, that contractor or landlord will be able to send a notification, a comment via Fixflo to them as well. So I'll be able to reach out once that is instructed. I do hope that all makes sense. Finally, you can also ask occupiers for feedback as well. Now, this is part of the workflow, but again, you must have the setting turned on. So again, administrator users can click on settings, setup settings, sorry. You want to stay within issue settings just here, scroll down and you've got issue feedback here. So what you can do is you can turn this on. You can turn it on for different parties, but for me, I've got this turned on for my occupiers. And once a contractor then marks a job as complete, if the occupier then will receive an email asking them for feedback. If feedback is not given and after the set number of days, then it will progress on to the next stage where you can then close the issue. But it is a really brilliant opportunity for your occupiers to get more involved with the issue and say whether or not they were happy. So this is something that you may want to turn on. Just again, make sure you're happy and click on your setup settings and just check this just to make sure that you're 100% happy with your feedback options that you've got turned on. Brilliant. The next thing I want to talk about is, again, the final proven strategy used by top agencies to boost occupier engagement and satisfaction is just promoting Fixflo to your occupiers. So agencies that use Fixflo really well have adopted some fantastic methods in order to promote Fixflo more to their occupiers. So once again, they'll make sure that they do have that automated reminder email turned on. So we've already spoken about that. Once again, I would just highly recommend you check that setting. Texting occupiers as well. So as much as it's brilliant at the very beginning, you can also send messages as often as you like, basically. So if I click here on the promote section here on the left-hand menu sidebar, first of all, I would highly recommend that you click on promote to occupiers and just have a look at all of the options we have available here. So for example, we have, as you can see, flyers for your occupiers. We also have a user guide available. These would be brilliant for welcome packs. Text your occupiers, which we're going to go back into in a moment, and we've got a whole bunch of ideas just underneath here as well. So do have a look at these. The more that you adopt, the higher that your usage should be, because your occupiers then will be kind of really it will be kind of hammered home to them to get into these really brilliant gosh, I can't remember the word there. Yeah, get into these brilliant habits. That's the word. I do apologize. But if I click back into text your occupiers, what you can do is you can send a promote SMS to kind of all of your occupiers. And again, these are completely free of charge. You won't need to have agreed to the SMS T's and C's in order to do this, but sending a promotion text, this isn't something which is automated at the moment, but it is something that you might want to put in your calendar for, I don't know, every 3 months. So it could be that at one time they get an email, and then a month and a half later they get the text, and then a month and a half later they get the email. So it's kind of alternating between an email and a text message, just to remind your occupiers to do this. It's very, very quick and easy for you to do it. You can do it in a couple of clicks. You can literally send the promote SMS just through here, and it will send to all of these occupiers with a valid UK phone number. This can only be done within the UK. Alternatively, you can always click here on people, occupiers, and from here you can literally go to options and send welcome SMS just here. You can also resend the welcome email as well. I would recommend that not just as a one-off when they join, but do kind of do this every now and then, just to kind of keep that momentum up and keep people reminded about Fixflo. Now, if you are receiving phone calls still where occupiers are calling you to report maintenance issues online, a really, really brilliant tool that we have available on Fixflo. It sits within the Fixflo system already, so you will need to be logged in to use this. You can access it from absolutely any page at all. So let's pretend I'm in an issue here and I'm in the middle of a workflow. So let's just go here and somebody calls. It doesn't matter, because it will always keep me within the page I'm in. So if I've got, I don't know, Ben on the phone and Ben's calling to report a maintenance issue, I could say, Ben, thank you so much for calling. We're actually taking all maintenance issues now via Fixflo. Please can I grab your email address? Now, all you need to do is click on this little paper aeroplane button, which sits just here in the top left-hand corner. As you can see, it will come up with a pop-up, keeping me within the page I'm in, so I do not lose where I am. And all I need to do is literally type in his email address here, press send, and that is it. So it should be a very, very quick phone call. It's telling that person, thank you for calling. We're going to take everything now via Fixflo. And all you then need to do is, I'm just going to show you what that email would look like. Bear with me 1 second. And all they need to do, is check their email, and this is the email they'll receive. So it says, Dear Sarah Madam, thank you for contacting. It will have your company name here. It will have your logo and colour scheme as well. With your maintenance issue, simply click on the button below to begin reporting. If they do that, it will take them straight through to your Fixflo site, allowing them to report the maintenance issue. So I would highly recommend that you do, of course, start using that button. Just to remind you of where that might be, it just sits here in the top left-hand corner of your screen, just here. Like I say, it's available from within any page, and it will keep you where you are. So quick promotion checklist here. So text your occupiers. Please do make sure you're doing that. Again, it's completely free of charge. Don't take maintenance issues over the phone. Instead, email your Fixflo link to occupiers with just a few clicks. Ensure that your automatic reminder emails are being sent out to occupiers. Again, this is available within your settings. And please do just have a look through all of our other promotion ideas on your Fixflo site, which are available within promote and then promote to your occupiers. Finally, there is also another academy course available on how to promote Fixflo to your occupiers. It's called the promotion course. And again, it's within Fixflo Academy, completely free of charge. If you're not sure that you're promoting quite that well and you feel like actually there's a lot you could learn, please do go onto that course and learn all about how to promote Fixflo to your occupiers to get the best out of it. I'm just going to go through a very quick occupier demo here as well and show you that occupiers can, in fact, log into Fixflo in order to check, for example, issue statuses. They can also report maintenance issues from within there as well. So if an occupier, for example, is on your Fixflo site, they can actually sign in here. Once they've signed in, it will take them straight through to this issues page where they can see 4 tabs with all of the issues which are at their property. And they can see, for example, very quickly here when the issue was raised and also the issue status here as well. They can click into any of these issues here where they can Oh my gosh, I do apologise. 1 second. Let me just go back in. I do. Okay, bear with me. Sorry, just 1 second. I'm not quite sure. What's happened with that? Sorry, do. Okay. What I might do is I might go through some questions because I'm not 100% sure what's happened with this. Sorry, let me try again. No, I haven't locked them out. Just 1 sec. Sorry, my apologies. Okay. I'm in, and then I will go through the questions. I do apologise. We are coming to the end of the webinar now. So once they've logged in, as you can see, they will come straight to this issues page here, where they can see all of the issues along with the issue status and when the issue was raised. They can click into any of these maintenance issues here, where they can see kind of the next steps. They can see that, for example, on this one, they've currently got nothing to do. They've got no actions. They can see all the detail about what they've reported. They can view any appointments, if there are any, and also on the comments tab they can send a message to you and also the person who was instructed the job, if anybody has been instructed the job at that point. So they can very easily keep in the loop here. Further, they can also click here on report issues, and this will allow them to really quickly report a maintenance issue because it will have all of their contact details along with their address as well, which is another reason why it's so important that you do keep their addresses up to date if they were to move from one of your managed properties to another. As you can see, they've got the language options just up here if they wanted to report maintenance issues in other languages, as well as choosing from the 40+ languages we have here. And they would literally just go through and report the issue very quickly. So that is absolutely everything for the webinar. Thank you so much for coming. What I'm going to do is I'm now going to go through any of the live questions. I would highly recommend that you do stay around for the questions. We do always kind of put 15 minutes in for questions. If you are, however, leaving us now, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me this morning. I do hope you found the webinar helpful. There will be a very quick feedback survey. It's just got 3 questions when you do leave the webinar today. One of the questions also allows you to leave kind of a long answer, so you can actually put how you found the webinar. Please be honest. If there's anything I'm not doing quite so well or you think has been really brilliant, please do let me know, as I always love to receive feedback from you. But now I'm going to go through the questions. So question 1 is from Sally. Sally, thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's a pleasure to have you on here. Is there anywhere to see the content of what has been sent to landlords or occupiers through the Fixflo system? So do you mean just on a profile? Because you can see on each and every issue, there will be an audit trail kept. So if, for example, I click into an issue here and go into, oh, no, I'm still in. I do apologise. I'm still in as the occupier. Here we go. So if I am in now here as the agent, you can, for example, click into a maintenance issue like this one here, and you will be able to see on the audit tab kind of all of the communications that have gone out. You can't click into and actually see the emails that went out. However, a lot of the email content is available here from within setup and content edit just here. So you can actually view what a lot of the emails do say here. Not all of them, admittedly, but there are a few of them that you can see here. The audit trail will give you a really good indication as to who has been kind of managing what and what's gone out. But in terms of if I was to click into a, say, people and occupiers, and I was to go into an occupier here, you can see kind of the notification history here. This is relatively new, so I think that's why it's currently showing as blank. But if I was to click on the profile, you can also see here when the welcome SMS was last sent, and also when the welcome message was last sent. You can't quite click into it to see exactly what went out, but we do, like I say, have a new notification history tab, which will show notification history. I do hope that makes sense, Sally. Any other questions, let me know. The next question is from Mark. Mark, hi, thanks for coming today. Does sending out SMS messages cost? So it will cost, like I say, 4p per message if you're using the message via comments or via the workflow notifications. However, if you're sending out a welcome or a reminder text from within the promote section, that is completely free of charge. Hope that helps. Burnham Lettings, Hook, hello, thank you for coming today. Reports, T reports light bulbs is not working. Does Fixflo give recommendations to replace light bulb before the report comes through? Right, so yes, so you have got guidance and advice pop-ups, which you can add to Fixflo. Some of them will be automatically added for you as templates, but of course you can fully customize these. So to see, I believe there is one for light bulbs, but let's have a look together. So if we click here, so again, you will need administrator rights. Once again, if any of you want to speak to an administrator about having administrator rights, I know I've spoken a lot about that in this webinar. Administrators will want to be happy to give you administrator rights, but what they can do is they could click into people and agents. I will get to your question in a moment, Burnham Lettings, but I just want to show you. So I can log in here and I can see the user role of people. So say, for example, I was to see John T. So if I wanted John T, say, to have, so at the moment she's an agent, that means she doesn't have administrator rights, and if she was new to the team and actually she was going to be doing a lot within the settings, what I could do is click into her profile like this, scroll down, and what I can do is change her user role here within her profile to an administrator user. Once I press save, she will then have the rights in order to go in and make changes within setup and settings. So if you're not an administrator user and you don't have access to this, if an administrator user is happy for you to, then they can change it. I just wanted to show you that quickly. But back to this light bulb not working and these kind of guidance and advice pop-ups. So again, it's under setup and content edit here. And rather than staying within the content tab this time, you'll want to click on fault tree pop-ups just here. And by scrolling down, you can see all of the different messages to occupiers. So these are the guidance and advice pop-ups that we have. They're all labeled and titled correctly. So if I click on the light bulbs one, as you can see, they're all alphabetical as well. So if I go to light bulbs, this is the kind of, I believe this is the template of light bulbs. So the replacement of light bulbs is often an occupier's responsibility under a lease. Please check the terms of your agreement to identify who is responsible for replacing light bulbs in your property. Now, if you wanted to give more detail here, of course you could do. You can add even photos, GIFs, you can add videos as well. Videos will need to be hosted on a video platform, so something such as YouTube or Vimeo. However, what I would recommend is there is actually a Fixflo Academy course on how to customize the occupier side of Fixflo, and that really does go through how to customize these fault tree pop-ups in a lot of detail, including adding videos. And adding things like videos and more information can strengthen these and actually increase the first time fix rate for occupiers. It's quite a short course. So what I'll do is I'll also link that out. I'll link it directly to you, actually, Burnham Lettings, just because I'm not sure everyone necessarily wants that, but I will link that to you so that you can sign up. It's very easy to sign up. It's quite a quick course. I believe it's less than half an hour. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it is. I'm the creator of Fixflo Academy, so but there are so many courses, so sometimes it's hard to remember the exact how long they all are, but I will link that one out to you because I think it will be useful. If anyone else is interested in that, please just pop it in the Q&A and say, yes, I would like to know how, I'd like that course as well. And of course, I will link that out to whoever would like it. I hope that's helpful, but do have a look and make changes here. It's easy to do so, but that course will help you. Kevin, hi, thanks for joining me. How do you see issues that are resolved through the system? Okay, perfect. So as soon as an issue is resolved, we highly recommend that you close those issues down, but closed issues can, of course, be found. So in order to find your closed issues, all you need to do, Kevin, is click here on issues and then click on issue search. When you search for your issue search, it will by default search for your open issues. Okay, so I can see here that on my system, I've got 480 open issues. If I want to see the closed ones, I can simply change that from is open, from yes to no, and then press search. And here now I can see my 1,339 closed issues. I can narrow down my search further if I wanted to by opening up this drop-down arrow. And if you wanted to see issues which are resolved but open, then what you would do is you would change it from is open, you would keep it as yes. And on this drop down, you can actually search by status. So these might not be closed issues, they might be open, but they might be ones that are completed. So for resolved ones, you've got kind of 4 different options here. You've got job completed awaiting feedback, job completed negative feedback, job completed awaiting contractor information, and job completed ready for closure. So what you could do is you can only search one status at a time, but you could choose that status and then press search, and that will then search for any issues which have that particular status. So that's currently none. Then you could, for example, go with the other statuses as well. So if you've got job completed, ready for closure, these are fully resolved, we're not waiting on anything, and press search, you'll be able to find your search here. And I've got 76 issues at that status. I hope that makes sense, Kevin. So that's showing you how to search for closed issues as well as those that are resolved but still open. You can also, just to let you know, use your dashboard to track all jobs. And on your default dashboard, there's issues requiring attention by status, and that will show you jobs at different statuses here as well. So that might be something you'd want to do. Again, back to Fixflo Academy. We do have a fantastic dashboard course as well available, helping you to fully understand the dashboard, which I would highly recommend. The dashboard is one of my favorite features. It really is brilliant to fully understand absolutely everything at a glance. So if you haven't done that course already and you don't find the dashboard that helpful, I do think that course could actually change the way you use Fixflo in quite a lot of detail. So I would highly recommend that to anybody who's not quite using the dashboard to its maximum capacity. Okay, John, hi, thank you for your question. So following on from my current question, when a job is issued to a contractor, does the occupier receive full contact details for that contractor? Now, that's a really good question, and there's actually a setting here. So I'll talk about the setting in a moment, but as soon as the job is awarded onto a contractor, the occupier does have the opportunity to contact them via the comments tab. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll receive all of their information on it. It all depends on your settings. So again, if you click on setup and settings, I may need to find this. It's under issue settings, and I believe it's under general just here. So if I open up general, John, you can see here, it says provide contractor contact details to occupiers. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what the default is here. I cannot remember, but you can choose. So it's up to you what you have. There's also one just above saying provide occupier contact details to contractor. So even if these are both set to no, they will still be able to contact each other through the comments tab, but they won't know their name, they won't have their number, their email address, any of that stuff. If you've got this set to yes, then they will be able to see that contact information. So I hope that makes sense. If this is set to no, for the occupier to see the contractor information, it will be like a CO number, and the contractor would see like a TE number for the tenant. So it completely is up to you. You've got these settings available. I'm so sorry, I don't know the defaults, but do have a look in your settings. If you're not an administrator user, you can ask someone to change your role or just speak to an administrator about that to make sure you're happy with that. But this does open up a lot of flexibility for you, depending on whether or not you want it turned on or not. This is on a per agency basis. This is either turned on or turned off. You can't turn it on for one issue and off for another. It's either on or off. So I hope that makes sense. Do have a look at those settings. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure, unfortunately, on the default. Hope that was helpful, John. An anonymous attendee has asked a question. Hello, thanks for joining us. When you're using the occupier report arrow, the paper aeroplane button, when you're already in Fixflo, once you enter the occupier's email address, it will take the occupier to a sign up page if they are not already signed up. Okay, I wasn't so let me have a look. That might be something I'll need to look into. You can also add kind of optional details of, like, you can add their first name and surname, etc. But this should just take them straight through to a link. With that, I'm not 100% sure because this was asked by an anonymous attendee. If you like, through here, there's a need help widget. If you click, so need help is an absolutely brilliant widget, which is where you can access a number of our videos and also our kind of support articles here. So any questions that you have, I'd highly recommend that you first of all go via need help and you search for your questions here, because we have got thousands of articles which also come in the form of videos in order to help answer your questions. It really is the quickest way to get an answer to your questions as well, rather than waiting for a member of the support team. Although they do get back to you quickly, you can just get the answer resolved here very quickly. Things about Academy here as well. But if you can contact support, and if you put your name in, your details, could you put it to the attention of Jessica? I will have a look into that for you, because I'd be keen to see if you've got like a screenshot of the email or anything like that. When you do contact us through here as well, you can add files or take screenshots as well. The more information, obviously, the better. So if you could just get in touch with me via that, just put it to my attention. So my name's Jessica. I will have a look into that. But if you could provide me with a screenshot, because it should just have the same email every time saying, please click here to report a maintenance issue. I'd love to hear from you. Please do get in touch, because that doesn't, it should definitely, have the same email, whether they're signed up or not. Leanne, hi, thank you for joining us. Please send out the course for adding videos in the folder. Yes, of course, I will send that to you as well. Thank you so much. I do think it will really be very, very helpful. So thank you for your interest there. Kevin, hi again. I mean the issues that have been automatically resolved by the system with no user involvement. Oh, okay. So if issues have been, Kevin, it might be worth actually us having a little chat after this anyway, because this does sound quite niche. But I just want to point everyone's attention to, there is a report available to see how many issues have actually been resolved by the in-system usage. So let me have a look. Here we are. So we've got a number of reports available. If you type in the word resolved, you can see the number of issues which have been resolved before being submitted. So this can actually be really, really helpful. I've got a test system, so it's probably not the best, but you could see, for example, here on the 4th of September, you can see that 4 issues were started, and of that 3 issues were submitted. 4 of them had, that's in-system advice shown there, and 1 of them was resolved by in-system advice. So you can actually keep an eye on this report and see how helpful your in-system advice is being. You won't be able to see exactly what pop-up that person saw, so I can't delve deeper into this report to know that actually 4 of them were about boilers, or 1 was about locks and keys, and 1 was about windows, and 1 was about light bulbs. It's just more of a generic, this is how many issues were started, this is how many issues were shown in system advice. You can also click on any of these reports on the more options button and actually get these reports sent out to yourself as often as you like as well. So that can be really handy if you are interested in any of this information and you want to keep reports coming to you on a Monday to see how many issues, I don't know, were reported last week or something like that. So you can do that. But Kevin, I hope this is what you mean. So you've got the report here. Like I say, it's not in the detail of telling you exactly which pop-ups were shown, but it will tell you how helpful in general your pop-ups are being. You're very welcome, Kevin. I'm so glad I could answer that for you. One final question. We are nearly at 12 o'clock. So guys, thank you so much for everybody that has held on here. And once again, when you do leave this webinar, I'd really appreciate if you could just leave some feedback. It will take you probably less than a minute, and it would just be great for me just to see how we got on today. I do love hosting these webinars, and also if there's anything you would like us to host a webinar on, put it in the feedback. There's the section on how we got on today, so let me know and maybe we can host a webinar on that. Final question, an anonymous attendee again. Hello, thanks for joining me. I hope you found this webinar helpful. So the question is, once a job has been completed, can we close can we close a job down even if the issue has not been supplied by the contractor? Will this still allow the contractor to add an invoice at a later date? So once the issue is closed, contractors cannot add invoices, unfortunately. There is an issue status called job completed awaiting contractor information, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check. And that's when you're still waiting for the contractor to send their invoice. So job completed awaiting contractor information. That means we're still waiting for the contractor to add their invoice. Just to let you know, so like I say, if the job's closed, contractors can't add invoices anymore. So it's always worth making sure the contractor's added the invoice at that point. Again, you can, via the comments tab, always send them a comment saying, please, could you add your invoice as quickly as possible? So that you can get the issue closed down, because we do recommend that as soon as the issue can be closed down, it is closed down. I just want to also point out that under setup and settings, there are a number of invoicing options you also have. So this sits within the issue status or issue settings tab, under the general tab here. And here you have got the option for the default contractor invoice options. So by default, this will be uploaded, generated within Fixflo or no invoice. But if you really want the contractor to actually add their invoice via Fixflo, you can, of course, narrow this down. And this can be amended on a per issue basis as well. So when you go to instruct the issue to a contractor, you can amend these default options if you wanted to. Contractors can also email their invoices over to you. So each and every contractor does actually have a unique email address, which you can see within their profile. So it's under people, contractors. Click into the contract you like and click on the invoicing tab. This is their unique email address. And what they can do is they can literally attach their invoices to that email, send them in. They can send as many as they want at one time. As long as the invoice has the IS number on it, it will automatically attach to the issue, and it will even mark it as complete for them as well. We do have a video available on our help site, which again can be accessed through your Fixflo site. Contractors also have their own contractor help site as well, which is available, and this video is on there for them as well. So that's contractor-help.fixflo.com. But it's also available on your help site under training my contractors. There is a section here on invoicing, and it's here how contractors can email their invoices directly to Fixflo. Now, this is highly recommended. It will really cut down on admin. And actually, this is the video here, and this shows you the video link that you can send on to their contractors. And this basically links out to contractor-help.fixflo.com, where the video also sits. So this is a relatively new video that I created last month, and it will show them how to actually do this. It will show them where they can access their unique email address, because they can access it as well by logging into Fixflo, and it really can cut down on admin. I hope that makes sense. If you want that, I'm not sure who you are because you've asked anonymously. If you can let me know who you are, then I can, of course, link this directly out to you so that you can send that to them and also learn about it. Final question, because one more has come in. Gabriella, hello. Thank you for joining me today. Yep, Hannah, you would like that link too. That's absolutely fine. I'll do that. No problem at all. Thank you so much. Gabriella, hello. Is there a way to make any of the information when instructing a contractor automated, i.e. work authorization limit? So the works authorization limit, yes, so a lot of it can be automated, yes. Let me have a think. So if I go to setup and go to settings, just trying to remember where the works authorization limit sits. Works authorization limits can actually be set, I think, on an agent basis and on a landlord basis. So if you've got a landlord attached to an issue, so in order for a landlord to be attached to an issue, that landlord must be associated with the property in question. You can click on people here and landlords, and if I click into a landlord here, Mr. Moonling, they have got a works authorization limit, which sits here. So it sits within their profile here. So that's £50. So that will then be automated for any issues which are related to properties for Mr. Moonling here. His active properties sit here. So for any of these properties, when an issue comes through, then of course it will be £50. You can also have this set, I believe, against an agent basis by clicking on people and user roles. And if I go to administrators and scroll down, you can set a works authorization limit here, but I think mainly it's set against the landlord. So please make sure your landlords are set up with that. You can override it at the time as well. You can also automate jobs straight onto contractors as well via Copilot. Again, there is a Fixflo Academy course on Copilot, Gabriella, if you're interested. This basically means that you can send any specific issues onto contractors straight away. You won't actually need to do any of the work. So the issue comes in and automatically it goes straight onto a contractor. You can request quotes and also instruct the work straight onto them as well. Gabriella, what I'll do is I will send you the link to the Copilot course because I do think that will be helpful for you. You can, of course, automate the works authorization limit as well as under setup and settings. You can also automate the cost options for contractors and also the invoice options, which sit again under the general tab here. So you've got your default contractor invoice options. This can be overridden on a per issue basis if you are using the workflows. And also you've got the default contractor cost option here as well. You've got default instruction documents that you can add here as well. So you could add, for example, guides there. They will pull through from your setup and your document library here. So if you wanted to add them as well. So you have got options within your settings. Do have a look through them. I do hope that makes sense. Anything else, again, remember you've always got the need help widget, which sits here. David, of course, yes, I will send you the contractor invoice video as well. That's no problem at all. I'll link that out to you separately from this recording. Please do keep your eyes peeled for this recording. It will be sent by the end of the week, along with a lot of other helpful information that I've mentioned in this webinar. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined me. I know we have gone over by a little bit, so thank you so much. I hope this has been helpful. Please do leave feedback. I do really appreciate it. It's always nice to see how everybody got on today. Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of the week. I'll be in touch by Friday. Thank you. Bye-bye. Leanne, yes, I'll send the contractor help link to you as well. That's no problem. Thank you. Bye-bye.